guys, so I'm going to finish a video that is long overdue. I started this about a month ago, and when I was transferring videos from an SD card, I accidentally deleted the footage from this video, so I had to redo it. So that's what I'm doing today, and I also have to get this project done too. So let me show you what I'm doing. If you've seen the Big 3 swap meet video, I got these. These are, I think they're Jegs rockers. Let's see. I looked at the pictures online. They're Jegs rockers. They look like Jegs rockers at least. If you know what they are, let me know. But if you haven't seen the Big 3 swap meet video, I'll put a card up here somewhere. So basically, I did 8 of these. I did all these top ones up here. I have not done these ones yet. These ones were the worst ones that were kind of binding up when you'd roll them. Now I figured to do them all, but these ones, they're not grinding, but there's a little bit of play in the shaft, so I'm gonna fix that. But I'm gonna take all these apart, clean them, put them back together, and make them buttery smooth like these ones. You could hear it. I use 3-in-1 oil, but there's no more play in it, so those are all good. No more grinding, no more play. So I'm gonna finish this video up today, and let's get started. All right, so this is my work table. I'm getting quite a part supply full. I got these now. I have an intake manifold, and I got this yesterday. I bought this from Sean. It is a Holley 600 marine carburetor. So it's made for boats. The only main difference is these the bull vent tubes right here are J-shaped, so that it, instead of leaking externally, if there's a bull malfunction, it'll leak inside the carburetor so you don't start a fire. It's a big safety feature on boats. So I need to rebuild this carburetor. I don't know when I'm going to start that, but video coming soon on that. I'm going to rebuild this. I don't know if I'm going to keep it for the Corvette or not. I might just rebuild it, sell it, and then get another carburetor to do for the Corvette. I don't know, it just seems kind of weird to put a marine carburetor on the Corvette, so we'll see what I have to do with that. So these right here, I got these at the Big 3 for 60 bucks. They come with poly locks and all that good jazz and stuff. And so the tools that you're gonna need are washcloth, I guess, paper towel, plate, a C-clamp or a bench vise of some sort, some reverse spring split ring pliers, some plastic tweezers, a magnet, 3-in-1 oil or motor oil, and some sort of degreaser. And then I use, for my rockers in particular, I use a 7/8 inch deep socket, a 1/2 inch deep socket, and a 1/2 inch standard socket. So these are going to be used to press out the shaft and stuff like that. Yeah, let's get started taking this stuff apart. Alright, so out of the lot that I had left, I picked the worst one that I could find. It's not too bad, but let me just get you closer in. So you can kind of see that play. It's not too bad, and it's probably going to be pretty close to what it's going to be like when I'm done with it. But they kind of just, they're not as smooth as they should be. So I'm going to take them apart and clean them, because I don't know who had these before me or what they did to their engine, why they came out. So I'm going to clean them and make them new, so I won't have any doubts putting them in my new motor. So they'll be like ready to go, you know. So these are for 350 Chevy, as you guys probably know. They're a 3/8 inch stud, 1:5 ratio, so it's just kind of your basic, rocker. So first part is, this is why I have the plate, is to disassemble it. So the first part of disassembly is to take these split ring thingies out. And if you don't have these pliers, it can be a little tricky. So just like that. So now this won't come out yet because they're press fit. This is what I'm gonna wash the parts in. So I just have some citrus cleaner pour some of that in there. This is just an all-purpose citrus degreaser. So, and then I'm just gonna throw my parts in there, like so. So that'll clean off some of the grease and stuff. This is where the C-clamp comes into play. This is gonna be for removing it. I use the 7/8 on that side, and then you put the part in and make sure that the bearing is clearing the edge of that. And then for removing it, I use the 1/2 inch, and I use 1/2 inch because it slides over that center post that sticks out like that. So it slides over that, but it's not wider than the bearing. So that's why I use the 1/2, and it doesn't move around very much. So you use the 1/2 deep so that you can push it all the way through. I have the C-clamp 1/2 hanging off the table so that I can operate the handle. So I get it all lined up, and I make sure everything's gonna be not interfering. So brace down on it, and you gotta give it some force. There we go. So that popped the first one, break loose, and keep going. The second one popped out. Now you just gotta push the last one all the way through. So it gets easy, and let me take you in for a second. So you can see the bearing in the center. You're just gonna keep pushing it through. So you're just gonna keep pushing it through till it comes out. So keep going, keep going. There we go. So now it is free, and you can pull it out. Now is an empty housing. Now you're gonna want to clean this out just with some, with a paper towel, you know. And now in here is our central assembly. So it's just a shaft with 2 bearings. Now these are needle bearings, so you gotta be careful not to lose any of them. And I forget the number that's in each one, but I already see one already fell out on it. So I take these apart one bearing at a time so I can keep track of all the needle bearings. So I'm just gonna pull this one off, and one bearing already fell out. This one I put it in the bath already. So how I do this is I grab this magnet right here and I stick it in there, and I just pull out all the bearings, and then make sure you get them all like so. And now this is just an empty race, and I throw this in the parts cleaner, and I also throw those bearings in the parts cleaner. Now let them soak a little bit, agitate it a bit, stir it up, make sure the grease gets taken off and so forth and whatnot. You can see like around, let me move to the black, there we go. So you can see all that stuff on the surface. That's all the grease and stuff coming off and all that gross stuff. So now this plate is supposed to be for clean parts, and I already got it dirty, but that's okay. So let's take these out. So I use this towel to kind of get the bulk of the stuff off of it. So I got all the needle bearings down here, and now I'm just gonna kind of roll them around and get all the excess degreaser off of them. And now from here I'm going to transport them to a clean paper towel to get them completely dry and lint free and debris free on that. So, and I'll show you how to clean this in a minute. So just roll them around, same procedure. Make sure they're all dry and clean. Like that. So now, yeah, now they're all dry. And now from the paper towel onto the plate, like that. That's how you clean this one. You get some Q-tips, and you're gonna wanna, you see, let's see if it'll focus. So in here, right on the rim, it collects debris. So you wanna stick this in and rub the opposing end. So you jam it in there, do a little loop around, and look at all that came out of that bearing. So that's why I'm taking the time to clean these out. So same thing on the other side. It's almost like a gunk. It's like a slime almost. It's weird. It looks like boogers kinda. I don't know. So yeah, that's done. Now this part's cleaned. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with the other bearing on this shaft. Alright, so I got it at a different angle now, so it's probably easier to see what's going on here. But I got all the parts on the plate with its corresponding race and bearing. Everything's cleaned. This is cleaned now. So we're gonna put this aside for now. All we have to worry about right this minute is these bearings, and this is just to hold them on once we install them. So this is where the 3-in-1 oil comes in. You can use motor oil or some other type of oil that works good for motors. This is an all-purpose oil, so it's whatever. So how I do this is make sure all these are clean. Now I take the 3-in-1 oil, and let's see if I can get this on camera. So I put like 1 drop, 2 drops. I put 2 drops in there, and then it makes like a little puddle in there if it focuses. So yeah, you can see that little puddle. That's what I'm going for. So that little puddle, and then I stand this up. Now there's also, on my bearing, there's a flat end and then there's a round end. The flat end is on the outside, so make sure you keep that in mind. Now I grab these bearings a couple at a time, and I stick them in there, and the 3-in-1 oil kind of holds the bearings, the needles in place. So grab these, make sure you don't lose any of these too. So now that you got it all installed, you're going to want to make sure that all the little needles are in there. So you can see that the whole bearing is full. Now let me see if I can show this. So you see the round side, and then the opposite side has a flat edge. The flat edge goes on the outside. So now I'm going to take this that's all cleaned off, and just for good measure, I'm going to put a drop of 3-in-1 on here, like so. Rub it on a bit, and then place that on there. So now, got that on there, set that aside. Now it's time to do the other one, so I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, so that's it for putting the bearings back together. Once you do it a couple times, you get pretty fast at it, so you just want to make sure that there's no dog hair or other debris inside. Now, we're going to have to put this back in the housing. So, now, let's see. You see how there's like maybe a millimeter of play. It's like not much at all, but it still spins. Like that, and there's no grinding or anything. It's a little dry, but that's because I didn't use motor oil, but it's smooth at least. So now, the last step is just to install these little C-clips on the edge again. So yeah, now it's back assembled, it's lubed up, and this is ready to go in the car. So I'm gonna continue working on these. Okay, so I got them all done now. They're all clean and they all rotate smoothly and stuff, so they are ready to go in a car. What I mean by a car is I'm not gonna put these in my car. I just figured with the kind of time and money that I'm putting into the car, if I use a used part that is very important, it could fail. So I don't want to use them. So I'm probably gonna sell them, because I've heard of stuff like this failing, and I don't think that they're going to fail. It's just that I don't want to take the chance, because I only have enough money to build this motor once, and if I destroy it because I use some used parts that I got at a swap meet, I'm going to be really upset. So not taking the chance with that. I'm just going to use some stamped steel rockers, because my motor doesn't run enough RPM for these to make a difference. So I'm just going to use some stamped steel rockers. So I'm probably going to sell these on eBay or something, try to get a little bit more money than I bought them from. So I'm going to do that. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I hope that this video was helpful for somebody if you want to take this project on your own and rebuild these rockers. So as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.